Hello everyone, welcome to another Friday night Airgungurus live stream. We've got a couple of cracking things on for you tonight, including details of another competition that you can win after this. If you haven't watched this before, guys, just leave a comment on any of our channels. It's on my Facebook page, it's on the Airgungurus Facebook group, it's on the Global Airgun Club group, we are on YouTube, we are on Twitter, and we are on LinkedIn. To win with a chance of winning the prize at the end, just send us a message and just do a post and your name will come up and we'll get you into the draw. If you come up as Facebook user, if you look at the top of any of the streams, there's a link that you can click and your name will come up and you'll go in the draw. Hi Wally, how are you? I haven't seen you for a wee while. Mark, how are you, Mark? Thanks for coming on. Martin, how are you? I was wondering who you are. I've got a prize for you, Martin. If you haven't been on before, guys, Dink, how are you? Guest tonight is Nigel Allen. If you're in the UK, you will probably about 99% certain you'll know Nigel. He may not be on camera. It's maybe voice only. Matthew, how are you? Matthew, you looking forward to the bench rest competition coming up soon? Matthew's a cracking bench rest shooter. Martin, Brian, loads of people coming on, guys. We've also got news of a competition that you can win right after this live stream, and it's for a red dot site. Jersey will pop on, he's giving it away. It's the one I won last week, a fortnight ago. I won it, but I put it back up for another prize because I've already got one. If you've got any questions for Nigel, just put them on and we will get them on for you. And we're going to bring them on. It's going to be audio only. So we'll bring Nigel in about 5 seconds. Loads of people in the draw tonight, guys. So let's get Nigel on. Nigel, how are you?
Very good, thanks. Hi, how you doing, Davey? Yeah, and everyone else that's in?
You are looking very well. Again, if anyone has got any questions for Nigel, just feel free to ask. We'll get as many of them on as we can. And we've got a couple that have been sent in by email. Nigel, speaking to you earlier on when Jersey came on for a quick test, you're very well known in the UK. We do have people on from Peru and the United States and Belgium and stuff like that who may not know you as well. Do you want to do a quick introduction, Nigel, and tell people who you are and what you do or what you did?
Yeah, it's more a case of probably what I did, what I do these days. I've sort of retired really from the airgun industry, although I'm still a very, very keen airgunner. But those in the UK will know me because of my connections with the shooting press, the shooting magazines. I was the editor of Airgunner magazine from 1992, at the end of 92, until I left in 2008. And then I launched Airgun Shooter in 2010 or 2009, published by Blaze Publishing, until Future took over and they sort of basically shook up the ranks, so to speak. And I decided I'd take retirement at that point. But I've always been involved in the industry, and I kind of probably known outside of the UK through YouTube, because I started at Airgun TV back in about 2009, which I thought video was kind of quite good. And I was a bit concerned that the magazine industry, even though I did launch a magazine shortly afterwards, I felt the magazine industry was going to struggle a little bit, as we're seeing is happening. But yeah, I'm really I've been involved with the trade way back before even I started with the magazines in 92. I always used to write on a freelance basis. In fact, I think I had my first letter published in Airgun World in 1978. So, and my first airgun was a sort of a pop-out pistol, a Diana SP50 from Milbro, which I had in 1974, I think it was. So, really, I've been a shooter since 74, and I'm still a shooter now, the airgun shooter, that is. I'm not really a big fan of the big bore stuff or shotguns, but airguns still float my boat, so to speak.
Right, brilliant. If anyone hasn't seen Nigel before, here's a picture that he took about a fortnight ago.
And who can name that gun?
There you go. There's a question for you. Name that gun. If anybody names that gun within 1 minute, I'll send you an Airgungurus pin badge. There you go. Nigel nowadays is a wee bit more like that. That's an FWB. Might have a wee chat about that. Let's see if there's any comments. Name that gun. Martin, HW80 says Martin.
Sorry, Martin, but you're getting close.
Getting close, okay. Scott, how are you? Jose, all the way from Peru, how are you? If anyone doesn't know Jose, he's an Airgungurus award winner for services to the shooting industry. Alex Lindsay, HW90.
No, you're again on the right track, but the 90 wasn't out when I had that one. Neither was the 80.
Oh, it's getting exciting. Just add one on, everybody, a time, and you'll get there eventually, probably. HW90.
A clue is it is an HW.
It is an HW. Even I could tell that one, but the number I don't know. Oh, there's Alex going for another one.
That's a pistol, Alex.
Alex, I thought you were supposed to know about guns. Here, Mark. Oh, they're just going up in fives now.
You need to go backwards. Let me tell you that. Let me give you a big clue. It was the first model that Varrock actually came out with in 1953.
I can see very good. I can see loads of people hitting Google right now. Right, guys.
Yes, Martin, you're on the money.
Martin, well done. Well done, Martin. Absolutely brilliant. There's loads of comments coming in, and most of them are irrepeatable, and I can't put them on. So Martin wins again. That's 2 prizes you've got, Martin. I've got one in my car for you. We have 212 people on, guys. They are watching, but there's only 12 entries in the draw. If you are watching, just type anything at all. Type a number, type in hello, let us know where you're coming from, and we'll get them on for you. If anyone's got any live questions for Nigel, please do. You can make them awkward as you want. Nigel will love that, won't you? Got a couple of questions that's been emailed in, Nigel. First one's one that you're definitely going to expect. It's a desert island question, so you know that one. I'll just read it out so that other people can hear it. Yeah, you're allowed one gun, unlimited ammunition or air. This comes in from James Murphy. He's an Airgungurus group member. What one would you pick?
I thought he was going to ask who would I want to be on the desert island with, and I was going to say Charlize Theron, but
not Kylie then.
No, not Kylie. But maybe, yeah, not Kylie. What gun? And I can pick anything. There's a free supply of air. Ordinarily, I would have probably said a Feinwerk bow, which is my favorite gun. But in the last year or so, I've been lucky enough to have a lot of time with something that's blown my mind, which is a Daystate Delta Wolf. And the reason I think I'd want that is because I don't quite know how long I'm going to be stuck on the desert island for. And this is the most future-proof gun I've ever seen. And it really, when I go back to my early days of air gunning as a kid, you couldn't imagine what would happen to the design of the air gun in my lifetime. So I think I'd want the Delta Wolf. In terms of the ammo, I certainly wouldn't want slugs because I've not really played around with them much. I think I just want good ammo. And probably slightly heavyweight. I'm also a 12 foot-pound shooter. That's what I've been brought up on. So I'd want something. I'd probably want 177, and I'd probably want something in the JSB ilk. Something like a JSB or an Air Arms, or any of the brands that are made by JSB. So that would be my choice. A 177 and a Delta Wolf.
Right. Right, guys, get your questions in. Type them on one of the platforms that we're on. We'll get them in for Nigel. We do have. I do try and give the ones out that people have taken their time to be good enough to email us. If anyone doesn't know Nigel that well, I'm going to put a small video up. Jersey, you will love this one. I can see Jersey online. You guys can't see him yet. This is a couple of tips on how to make your gun more accurate. It lasts for 4 minutes. It does give me a bit of time. If you see me laughing, it's because I can see what Jersey's doing on the video. This lasts for 4 minutes and 10 seconds, guys. Get your questions in, and we'll give you a quick look at this video. It's actually very good. You can share it. It is on the Airgun TV YouTube channel, and let's have a look.
There's no doubt that air guns can be seriously accurate shooting tools. But if you find your shots going wayward and you can't point the finger at yourself, then you need to investigate a little deeper. And here are 5 key areas where I think you should begin your inquiries.
1. Check all the bolts. Even one loose screw or scope mount bolt can wreak havoc with your rifle's ability to shoot true. Key points to check are the stock bolts at the fore end and trigger guard, particularly on a recoiling Springer, the breech axis bolt on a break barrel rifle, and the scope mounts, where the clamping bolts should be really tight, but the ring ones less so. If you've fitted a silencer, also check that it hasn't worked loose or been knocked out of alignment. 2. Use the right pellets. No two barrels are alike, even on the same model, so finding the right pellet for your particular gun is key. That means lots of pellet testing, but hey, at least it's a fun job. And a good tip is that when you've found the right diet of pellets, look at the label underneath and then buy as many tins as you can from that batch. Pellet manufacturing processes do change over time.
And once you've decided what your rifle's favourite diet of ammo is, check each pellet individually before you load it into the breech or the magazine. If it's slightly misshapen, especially around the skirt area, it's not going to fly true. Fling it.
3. To rest or not to rest. There's no doubt a solid rest gets rid of the dreaded wobbles, but it's how you rest your rifle that's the important thing. On a recoil-free pre-charged pneumatic, it's fine to fit a bipod.
But due to the whiplash characteristic of a Springer's recoil, it's best not to let it rest under its own weight.
Instead, rest it loosely in the palm of your hand so the rifle's kick is free to react quite normally. That way, your accuracy won't suffer. 4. Zero in the sweet spot. This only applies to PCPs that don't have a regulator fitted. The pellets leave the muzzle with differing speeds as the rifle cycles through its air charge. It's called the power curve, and generally there's usually a fairly consistent output in the middle of the charge. That's called the sweet spot. So if, say, you fill your rifle to 200 bar and then need to refill it when it gets down to 100 bar, to get the most accuracy, it's best to zero up your sights when the rifle's gauge indicates its charge state is between, say, 140 and 160 bar. 5. Clean the barrel.
While you shouldn't clean a barrel just for the sake of it, there's no doubt that a really dirty barrel is a recipe for poor accuracy. Springers, especially those that are dieseling a lot, do have a tendency to gunk up their barrels.
So if you can, visually check the bore. If it looks dirty, rod it through with a cleaning brush, or in the case of a fixed barrel airgun, a pull through.
But do remember that a spotless barrel isn't necessarily the most accurate one. You may need to lead the barrel back in. So before you recommence your accuracy tests, fire off a couple of dozen shots beforehand.
Okay, guys, that's it gives me a bit of time to catch up on some stuff. That was very handy. That was one I picked. There's loads of really good videos on Airgun TV, but I thought that one was really handy. It's a very good one with CO2 canisters and CO2 guns as well. I have absolutely no clue what Jersey's. Just in case you don't know, guys, I can see the guests below me. You won't be able to see it. Jersey's doing all sorts of strange stuff. I might just pop them on with a surprise. We'll wait till the end. Another couple of questions for you, Nigel. One's a kind of tricky one, and we weren't really too sure whether to ask you this one or not, but to hell with it, really. Let's see. Have you ever done a review on a review gun? one that you didn't like, and was it published? That's from Gary Hutton.
That's a good question, Gary, and I'm going to answer it, and I'm going to answer it very honestly. But just before I do, one of the comments that I see you've had is from Brian Parker, who's correcting me when I said that it was one of the first, or it was the first model that Varrock came out with. That picture of me holding, age 16, holding my HW35. He's pointed out that it was an HW50V in the early 50s, and he's absolutely right. And I'd forgotten that. So well done, Brian. He needs a prize. So
well, thanks for that. Okay, Martin, your prize is now going to Brian.
No, he needs a big prize. Yes, back to Gary's question. Have I ever done a bad review? I mean, let's just sort of be quite open here. There was a lot of criticism, particularly in recent years, but going back many years. And I've published the Airgunner, Airgun World, and Airgun Shooter magazines. And people have always said, yeah, but you just say what the advertisers want you to say. And, it's a difficult balance to strike. The advertisers do keep the magazine going. It's not actually the readers buying the magazine that keeps the magazine going. So it's quite difficult. I mean, they're still important in terms of the financing of a magazine, but they're extremely important in terms of the industry. So we have a duty I'm speaking in past tense in my case, but we had a duty to ensure that anything we wrote wasn't false, because that would not be good news for the industry. And I'll be honest, when the criticism is leveled, say, oh, you never do a bad review. Actually, we do bad reviews. I just think people perhaps don't realize that they've read a bad review. I mean, I have refused, and as publisher, so I'm not talking about me as a writer, but as a publisher of major magazines, I have refused to do reviews on certain things. I'm not going to say what they were. In fact, I've lost a lot of revenue for the company. In one case, it was a significant amount of revenue over the course of 3 years, because we had a big falling out with the company because I refused to review a gun, because what they wanted me to say about it and what I realized the gun would have been really duping the readership, and I wouldn't do that. So there was an instance of putting a bad review in where we just simply couldn't agree terms, so we didn't do it. But there were also a number of articles. I mean, I'll tell you one article, because I don't think it's going to impact on any sort of advertisers out there at the moment. But a lot of people will probably be aware that my favorite gun of all time used to be it still is, I suppose, the Feinwerkbau Sport, which was a discontinued model. It went through various marks, Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, and it was discontinued in the 90s. And I was at the IWA, the big show in Nuremberg, big trade show, and I walked past the Feinwerkbau stand, and there, literally hanging up, was what looked like a Feinwerkbau Sport. Effectively, it was a Mark IV. And I just couldn't believe this. So to cut a long story short, I got this gun sent over to me. It was going to be a very, very expensive gun to bring into the UK, because they designed it to be a firearm. They'd actually designed it to be 20 joules when the maximum we can have in this country is a sub 12 foot-pound is 16 and a half joules. Or 16 joules, let's say. And that meant that when we were importing them, they'd have to be imported as a firearm, even if they were set to under, their basic design was over. When I got this Feinwerkbau to test, I felt it was just so bad that they were stuck in the 1980s when the sport was, or the 70s when the sport was first developed. The level of engineering that was applied was quite poor, really, for Feinwerkbau. And the article, I did go to print with the article, because I thought, this is the gun that everyone thought was the greatest gun in the 80s. And it was the rival to the HW80 before the 77 came out. And I I put a really bad review. So yes, we do bad reviews, and there are times when we refuse to review it because we just don't want to support the manufacturer. I'm speaking past tense in my case, but I think it does happen. I think it's a wrong criticism to say we only ever do glowing reviews. We perhaps, as writers, major on the positives less so than on the negatives. But if you read any review, you will always see that there are negatives in there. You know, even if it's subjective. I think in this day and age, journalists, the airgun journalists have to be honest. They do have to be honest, because if they're not, they destroy their own credibility now.
Right.
I hope that answers your question, Gary.
That was an absolutely brilliant. It's actually a really good question. That is a question that a lot of people want to know. Right, guys, if you want to be in the draw, again, just comment anything at all. Just put a number in if you don't want to talk. David, how are you? David's a club member of mine. He's also a top HFT shooter. Saltire 546. It's that's a follower on my YouTube channel. One of about 137. We don't push it. We did a review on the immersive optics scope. They are absolutely fantastic. It's nice to see you on, buddy. Thanks very much. What else? Loads and loads coming in. I'm going to show the picture of your FWB. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'll show you a quick picture, but there's another gun that I'm really interested in. I'm going to put that up. You can maybe mention something about it. That's the FWB, but the one that I found really unusual was this one. What the hell is it?
Well, it's serial number 0001. That's actually it's not a Parker Hale, if anyone thinks it's a Parker Hale Phoenix. It's a Phoenix from the Phoenix Airgun Company. So it's effectively the Phoenix Mark II. And it was a rifle designed by a chap I used to shoot with. And I think we're probably talking about the 80s, the original design. And it was a fast fire. The original one used a BSA 10-shot magazine. And it was developed by I'll call him a boffin, but a chap called Graham Bluck. And he was a friend of mine, shooting friend, lived near me. We shot at the same club. And he had it was a mutual friend, but he had a friend who wanted a gun to be made for him. And Graham came up with this design for this fast fire underlever with a Winchester style action. And basically that's what it was. It was the Phoenix. It was extremely complicated, but I managed to link to sort of get Graham and Parker Hale together, and they launched the gun under originally the Mark I as a Parker Hale Phoenix. It was fraught with a lot of issues because there were a lot of O-rings, and it was a PCP with the bottle in the butt. And then, cutting a very long story short, Parker Hale sort of ceased, and it was taken on. The gun was taken on, or Graham Bluck was taken on by Pax Airguns, who had an interest in a new company called Phoenix Arms, or Phoenix, and they relaunched the gun in Mark II, far better designed. But I had sort of a lot of involvement in helping all this happen. I can't take credit for any of the work, but as a thank you, they kept back number 001 and presented me with this gun. It was about a year after they'd actually released it, with my name on it, which was fantastic because I wanted to buy one. And he said, "Look, we've actually put a gun aside for you with your name on it. We're just getting it all anodized." And you know, that was, I think, one of the nicest things that anyone ever did, and I just love shooting the gun. It's a piece of engineering brilliance, I have to say, but it sold very poorly. You can still get a few. There's a few left from the designs available from Pax Guns in the UK. Right. I think one day it'll be a very, very collectible rifle, actually. But mine's got my name on it, so it's the nicest gun I think I'd ever got hold of in those years. So
it's not going on eBay or anything like that.
No, it's not going anywhere.
Nigel, here's a question coming in all the way from Peru. You'll see it on your screen in a second.
Oh, I mean. Hi, Jose. It's a really, really difficult one to answer because I think the answer is and I have said this for many years, the best air gun is the one that you shoot the best with. Now, that might not be the one that I shoot the best with, but we can both shoot equally as good as each other. So, you know, the great thing about now is that we have some of the most amazing designs, whether you're talking about Ed guns or FXs or day states. There are some, you know, and let's throw lots of other names in that I've forgotten: Varrock, Air Arms, BSA, Feinwoodbow, Walther. I really don't think there is any one gun that you can say is the best gun, because what I might think is the best gun isn't going to be the same as yours. There are some staggeringly good guns out there, some staggeringly expensive ones out there as well. But I think, you know, that reflects how much research and design, R&D, is being put into the modern day air gun. So if it shoots well and you like it, that's the best gun. And that's the best answer I can give, I'm afraid.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I don't want you to answer this one, Nigel, because it's going to cause a bit of problems. I just want to show you it to see the kind of troublemakers that we've got on here.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
we're probably going to ignore that
I
one.
do want to answer that. I really do want to answer that, because
well, on you go then.
I'm sorry about this, and this will probably then take the rest of the evening up. But I am going to say, if you're shooting at FAC levels, high power, you know, 20 foot-pounds, then I think you want a bigger caliber. So 2.2, that's fine. But if you're shooting at sub 12, and in the UK, unfortunately, with, you know, if we want to remain unlicensed, and I appreciate Dave is in Scotland where there is a license, then I think 177 is better for sub 12 foot-pounds. And I started with 2.2, and I tried 177 3 times, and I just never got on with it. Or 2 times, and I never got on with it. On the 3rd time, it was when I was shooting. I'd got an Airwolf, a Daystate Airwolf, and that gun was so accurate that I was able to dispatch quarry. It was only doing 11 foot-pounds, but I could dispatch quarry, rabbits, small pests out to 45 meters with a 177. And at that range, my range estimation was really, you know, it was hard, and I could be out by 2 or 3 yards. And then with a 2.2, that meant the difference between a hit and a miss, or certainly a hit in a vital area. But with a 177, you got away with it. You know, it was more forgiving. That flat trajectory really helps, even at 11 foot-pounds. And so from then on, I've always gone with 177. I'm going to throw something into the mix now that's going to be really controversial. I didn't like 177 in the early years because we had spring guns and we didn't have PCPs. Spring guns were harder to shoot more accurately. So you tended to shoot your quarry closer. When you're shooting quarry close with a 177, you don't get that shock factor that the 2.2 will give. And that's why I never got on with 177. But now we've got PCPs, we can shoot more accurately further. And 177 creates a reaction in a small pest, like a rabbit. If you hit a rabbit in the head at 45 meters with an 11 foot-pound 177, it reacts. It does a somersault, just like a rabbit hit with a 2.2 at 25 yards. And I've worked it back that the 177 it's got less power at 45 meters, and it seems to have, when it's striking at about 7 foot-pounds, it seems to have a better impact than when it strikes at 11 foot-pounds, where it just drills through the quarry and doesn't impart all its shock. And I've never put this into print, but I'm happy to say it here, and it is controversial, but I've done a test with a 177 rifle that was down-tuned to 8 foot-pounds, and I shot small pests out to 30 yards with it, and it was absolutely lethal. As a hunting tool, it was fantastic. And I think the reason we never got on with 177 in days of old, when we only had spring guns which weren't so accurate, is we were we literally were overpowered, and the 177 was just drilling through the quarry and not imparting all of its shot factor. It wasn't dissipating its energy. So I now think 177 is great because you've got more range, which you can release the full potential of a PCP. And I regularly shoot at 45 meters without hesitation with a 177 at 11 foot-pounds. But if I'm shooting under those ranges, you know, I would want a 2.2 or a lower powered 177. But give me the choice, and I would always take 178. The ammo's cheaper anyway. So.
Loads and loads of questions coming in. Saltire 546. We can't put every single question on, buddy, especially when it's asking about a particular make of gun. Kev Newman Martin. Let's see. Okay, we've got one. Why am I on the Starship Enterprise? Do you like it? It's quite good, isn't it? Maybe do a Star Wars one for somebody next. I'm trying to put up the comments that aren't. We've got a record number of comments tonight because Nigel's on. Thank you very much again, Nigel, for coming on. We really appreciate it. If anyone doesn't know, Nigel did the introduction for our Christmas magazine for 2016. That's now had 150,000 views. Might do one this year, but it's a hell of a lot of work. Question you know about that. Question from Kev, Nigel.
I got a story if you want, Kev. The first PCP I shot was actually a very early Day State Huntsman, but it belonged to a chap called Richard Bogie, who was a very, very good shooter. And I didn't like it. It was in about 1981, and it had a hair trigger, and it wasn't very accurate. In fact, I beat Richard on the course that day, and I was shooting I think I was shooting a Fine-Bow Sport 2.2, and I didn't like it. But the first one I ever tested, and this will I don't know whether people will know this, it was called a Galway Fieldmaster. It was a very low production run, and it was quite a story because it arrived and I hadn't got a clue how to charge it up or anything. It came with a bottle, and so this was it was between 1984 and 88 because I can remember where I was living at the time, and I managed to overfill the gun with air so that I was on the phone to the maker, Ken Galway of Galway Airguns, and I had the back of this PCP taken apart. I had a big Stanley screwdriver shoved down the back of this towards the knock open valve, and I was hitting it with a lump hammer trying to release some air because the hammer of the gun simply didn't have enough spring to release all the air that I'd overfilled in the gun. And I'm whacking this thing between my legs. I mean, why I didn't blow myself sky high, I don't know. But that was the first gun I ever tested, and I hated it because I thought it was an air bomb at the time. And it wasn't very accurate. You got about 30 shots from a fill, and the power curve must have been 2 foot-pounds between the first and the last shot. So, you know, my Fine-Bows and Varoks of the time outshot it considerably better. But that was the first PCP I had. Now I you know, PCPs are pretty impressive now, but it was a baptism of fire for me, that's for sure.
Okay, we normally put these live streams onto YouTube later on, and we're looking for a quote, so we'll maybe use that one. I'm whacking this thing between my legs. That'll look good. That'll get people clicking on it.
With a hammer.
Right. What I'm going to do, Nigel, if you don't mind, I'm going to bring Jersey in a bit early. Jersey has got a competition, so if I bring him in a bit early, guys, it'll give you guys a chance to pop over and get onto the competition. So I'll bring Jersey in for a second or two. Jersey, how are you?
Good.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Do you want to let the watchers know about your competition, how to enter it?
Yeah, you can enter it by joining my Facebook group, The Masked Airgunner. Just ask to join the group and subscribe to my channel, The Masked Airgunner. So this is what you can win tonight. It's worth 100 euros. A brand new red dot sight, It's a quality scope. So hold on. It's made for Picatinny rail. So just join my Facebook group, and I will do a contest, and the winner is getting this.
Okay, Jersey, listen, I did cut you off quite quick there because you've got music in the background, and I have just had a warning from YouTube because it picks up the sound and it's unlicensed. So sorry about cutting you off there. It happens all the time. So if you put anybody plays message in the background, it causes us problems. Right, okay, let's get Nigel back on again. Nigel, I've got a really odd question for you. You may be able to guess who this is from. Do you ride a bike as well as you can shoot?
Well, I ride bikes uphill and my shooting goes downhill. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's someone who knows me quite well because they know that one of my other passions is cycling, on a road bike. I'm not a very good cyclist. I enjoy it. I like climbing up mountains, the Alps, Pyrenees, any hill. But I would say that I'm better at shooting than I am cycling. And I look a lot better in camo than I do in Lycra. And we won't go any further than that.
Yeah. Every time I go on a bike, the back tire's always flat. I have no clue why. Right, guys. Jersey, Jose is entering your competition. Just to let you know, it's the if you type into Facebook the Masked Airgunner, you'll find Jersey's page, and he will hopefully, I'm sure he can still hear me. Put your thumbs up if you can hear me, Jersey. You can. If you put your YouTube channel link on the Masked Airgunner group or page, the boys will be able to click on it. So you need to be in the Masked Airgunner Facebook group and subscribe. It's to help Jersey get a few more viewers for his YouTube channel. It is very, very good. Right, a couple more questions. Loads of people saying hello, Nigel.
Yeah, hello, John. I've just seen that. It's nice to see you again, John, or hear from you.
Again, Facebook user, hello, how are you? If you do have a look at the top text above all the live streams, there's a bit that says give StreamYard permission to see your details. It only takes your profile picture and your name. Doesn't take anything else. If you do that, you will get into the draw. We've got loads of people. Facebook user, you have not missed the draw. If you want to give StreamYard permission to use your name, you'll still get into it. It's been a longer stream tonight. We will do the draw in 5 minutes in case anybody's wanting to watch something on the telly.
Can I just there's a great question that's come in I've just spotted, if you haven't, Davey, and that is where do you think airgun design is going, having come so far since the first PCPs? That's a brilliant question. The truth is, I mean, I think that, there's a few airgun manufacturers in particular who really are, they're doing their bit. I mean, I see a lot of hate going towards some manufacturers more than others, actually, and I never quite understand why, because they're putting a lot of money, into designing stuff, and we have got some of the most incredible. I mean, I think I said earlier, if anyone was on. I've been playing with a Delta Wolf for a long time. That is an incredible gun. It's hard to, I mean, even go back 10 years. I mean, maybe a bit more than 10 years, because when I first fired the Mark III, the Mac, the Daystate, the first electronic gun they had, I was sort of blown away with it, with the feel of it. They just got better. Now, I mean, it's fully programmable. You look at the design of stuff. Where is it going to go? Do you know what? I have no idea, but I'm so excited because you've got, big manufacturers like Daystate, like FX, all looking into thinking we've got to make something really that's 21st century. And it's no longer, what we saw in the 60s and 70s, which was mass produced spring guns, a tube with a spring in it and bicycle pumps effectively. They are now pushing boundaries like we've never known. And because one company's doing it, another company's got to do it as well. So where's it going to go? I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to seeing what comes, because I think in 10 years' time, we're just going to be so spoiled. It's fantastic.
You're getting very popular, Nigel. There's all sorts of comments like this popping up. Just to let you know, it was hard enough to get Nigel on this stream. He's a very busy man. Okay, let's see what else is coming on. John, loads of comments coming in.
I agree, John. John, I agree with that. Yeah.
What else? Okay, I'm going to do a draw for you guys in case anybody has to pop out, because we've been running for just about 45 minutes now. It's a bit longer stream than normal. Get loads and loads of questions coming in, and it has been an absolutely fantastic stream. So, Nigel, I am going to remove you for 2 minutes because the computer needs a lot of power to do this. I'll bring you straight back on. Best of luck, everyone, in the draw. So there's no more entries, guys. Chrome tab, let's find it away. Yeah. Okay, guys, that's the stream. I will make it full screen for you. Best of luck, everyone. Well done, Keith. Keith, if you send me your details, we'll get it'll be an Airgungurus hat, probably. Just get rid of that screen. Thank you very much. Nigel, you're back on.
Congratulations to Keith.
Yeah. Jose, the laddie from Peru, Nigel, he won a T-shirt. Cost me a fortune. I was slitting my wrist, but he was kind enough to sponsor a live stream. If anybody ever wants to sponsor an Airgungurus live stream, by the way, guys, just let us know. Loads of comments coming in. We do kind of run at a loss on Airgungurus, guys. The live stream software costs us a few bob, but if you want to ever want to sponsor one, you get your name along the bottom and you get your logo up the top like that. We put Nigel's on tonight. Right, let's see the rest of the comments. Nigel, are you okay? Have you got some more time? I don't want to keep you on too long.
I'm enjoying it. I like the questions are great. People seem very, very enthusiastic. So it's nice to talk to someone.
Keith, you've been trying to win prizes for such a long time. Well done. The person that says Facebook user, thank you very much for congratulating Keith. Again, next time, if you want to come on again, if you're good enough to come onto the screen, you do have to click the little link that says give StreamYard permission to get your details. Keith sent me his address already. Thank you, Keith. You're not slow, are you? Right. So you did, Keith. You won so you did. We've got a Facebook group that we're probably going to be dropping. It's Global Airgun Club. It's free membership of an internet airgun club, and we put competitions on. Keith won the last one. We had hardly any commissions. Graham Freeman, hi Graham. How's everything down at Bench Rest UK? I'm looking forward to seeing any videos that you get in the competition that's coming up soon. Right, Nigel, I'll try to get through these questions as well. What's next for you as Airgun TV seems to be finished or very quiet? And that is from Alan Piola. I don't know who that is, but that's a question for you.
What next? I mean, Airgun TV, it still gets 100,000 views a month, and I don't upload on it. There are numerous reasons. I mean, some are logistical reasons. Other reasons are that I felt I got a bit uncomfortable at times because there were external influences stopping my channel, which I just didn't really. I mean, without wanting to swear, but I really couldn't be asked with it. If people are that stupid, people reporting for no reason, just to be nasty. So that's really why I kind of stopped putting the content on. And there were other reasons as well. I felt YouTube, the algorithm, you can never guarantee what's going to happen. They were really picking on the shooting fraternity for no apparent reason, as we all know. And I was getting videos age restricted, videos that had been on for 9 years and had got 1 million views, and then they got age restricted or taken down. So it just became not a very good experience. And the one thing that I always did is I put a lot of time, to produce some of the later videos that I put towards the end were taking me 4 or 5 days to put together. And that didn't include the testing time, because, we didn't just film the test. We tested the gun, or I tested the gun, and then I'd do the filming afterwards, which was sort of the verdict, the report, if you like. But it was just so time consuming. And then I started seeing that YouTube was changing. There was a lot of paid for by manufacturers. It became almost like the video magazine. And then I started watching stuff and thinking, I know that particular gun, and that is not a very good review of that gun for whatever reason, whether it was a poor review or whether it was a not altogether trustworthy review. And I didn't like that. So I kind of shied away from it, but I've kept it live, so to speak, and it does still generate 100,000 views. So what next in terms of Airgun TV? I don't know is the answer. I mean, if someone approached me to say, look, we want to carry on with Airgun TV, it would be good for someone to come straight in with 50,000 subscribers, because I think, as probably many people who've got YouTube channels on this live stream will know, it's really difficult to try and make a channel up now, particularly if it's a shooting channel on YouTube. So maybe that's how it would develop. Someone else will come along and they can carry it on. But I don't know. But in terms of my future, I'm sort of semi-retired now and enjoying a bit of time, because certainly in publishing, you're working 60 to 80 hour weeks all the time. So it was I never had a holiday for 17 years because you're constantly trying to get a magazine out all the time. So I'll never go back into doing. A lot of people have always, loads of readers always kept in touch, and they always said, why won't you launch another magazine? I just don't think there's room for another magazine, and I don't think there is a future for magazines.
Right. Brilliant.
So okay. That's where I'm, so at the moment, I've not got a lot of intention to come back into the airgun industry, but that's not to say I'm not airgunning, because I am.
Okay, Jersey, I know you're listening, buddy, and you've sent me a message saying your battery's gone done. That's us for this anyway. You can switch this one off. Again, if anybody wants to go onto the Masked Airgunner Facebook group, just check it. Jersey said, "Oh, I'll bring him on for a second." Jersey?
I'm going to wait 10 minutes, so there can be more people to play, because last time we got 5 or 6, so I'm hoping to get more. Okay,
buddy, we'll catch you, let you charge your battery for you. The Masked Airgunner, guys, it's a chance to get a red, I think it's a RAM or an RAM red dot sight. Somebody's going to win it. There's not that many going to be in the draw. Hopefully we can get Jersey some more people. But we do like to give them a bit of support. We'll just check it. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to bring a couple of more on. Let's see. Whoever said that, thank you very much. I have no clue who you are, but thank you so much. There's a question coming up from Rio Sax. Now, I probably need to put that one on because he's a club member of mine. I think he's in deep undercover with that name, but we'll bring him on. Nigel, I don't know if you can see that question or not.
Yeah. Another good question. That, yeah. I mean, recently the answer is no. But if over the past 30 years, the answer is yes all the time. And I said earlier, if for people that might have just come on. I've really majored on the sub 12 side of airgunning, being in the UK, And I've played with 177 and 2.2 with my own stuff, and obviously I tested, pretty much 2 guns a week for the space of 3 decades. So I got to know pellets quite well. For hunting, interesting. I actually think that you want to get as heavy a pellet as you can get, regardless of your caliber, if you're shooting at sub 12. But you've got to get the right balance between weight, and therefore by weight I also mean to some extent ballistic coefficient. Its ability to retain energy at range. That retention figure is quite important. You've got to get the right balance between that and trajectory, because there's no point shooting a 177 to get its trajectory advantages if you're shooting a 14 grain 177 that falls like a brick. So you've got to be comfortable with your own typical distance that you shoot over. If you can control that in a 177 type of trajectory, then get as heavy pellet as you can get away with, because I would rather shoot a 8.5 grain 177 than a 7.9 grain 177 if I'm hunting. And likewise, I'd rather shoot a 14 grain 2.2 or a 15 grain 2.2 than say a 12 grain like a RWS hobby. But I wouldn't want to shoot a 16 or 17 grain 2.2 at sub 12 foot-pounds, because again, although you'd have all the stopping power you'd need, if your range is really over 20 yards, you're running the risk of missing because of trajectory problems. So it's as heavy as you can get away with. I think that's the answer. But over the years, that's the sort of the conclusion I've come to at sub 12 foot-pounds. Use as heavy as you can get away with. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely brilliant. Nigel, you've been absolutely fantastic tonight. Normally after the draw, the viewers just drop, but they're actually starting to go up. We're not going to keep this going on too long. I've managed to get out all the questions that have been emailed in, so thanks to everyone who's done that for you. We are going to finish this fairly soon. If anybody's got anything to say to Nigel, do it now. We're going to let Jersey get on with his draw as well. We don't mind doing a bit of advertising for people to help them. Jersey's doing his best to get his channel up and running, so it's always good for us to give him a wee help out. Let's just check.
About the pellet shortage there, do I know anything about it? I just know that it is difficult bringing stuff in. There have been some big deliveries of JSB recently. Ramsbottom's had one. Somewhere else had one. I know QIS have come into the shooting party. It's just the logistics of getting stuff around the world at the moment, which is fallout from pandemic, and all the containers are in the wrong ports. It's just that there isn't a world lead shortage or anything.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Loads of people saying thank you, Nigel. I know you're watching the comments as well as we speak, so sometimes you can see them. We can't bring them all on, guys. We just don't have time for it. We are using a kind of professional version of the live stream software, but it costs us money if we go over an hour, so we tend to keep it a bit short. Rio Saxes.
Nice. Mark one, lovely.
He's actually a shotgun shooter as well. He's out all the time on the pigeons. Right, let's do a wee quick double check, because I get questions that you guys can't see in Facebook, because we're also on LinkedIn as well, and we're on everything really. Right, guys. Nigel, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I've just removed myself, but never mind. We've actually hit the record for number of views as well, so thank you very much. We could probably go on all night, guys. Nigel's been very good. He's managed to squeeze in an hour. He's very busy, so I can't really take. Thank you very much. Loads and loads of people saying how good the stream was tonight. That's down to you.
You're well. Thanks for the nice comments as well. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, and I'm happy to stay on as long as possible. And maybe someone suggested earlier, maybe a chapter 2.
A chapter
for that. Be up for that.
Chapter 2 would be absolutely brilliant. Okay, I'm going to let you guys get over to Jersey's stream as well, and I'm going to try and cut this off under the hour mark as well. Save us a bit of money. Nigel, if you want to stay on, I'll tell you when we're finished. We'll have a quick chat.
Yeah.
And we will download this. In fact, it'll be on YouTube. I think we're putting it on YouTube anyway, so you'll be able to see it again in YouTube. We'll put the link up. Nigel, stay on if you don't mind. Thank you so much. You've been an absolutely brilliant guest. Everybody was looking forward to it. And I will have a very quick chat with you, and I'll tell you when we're after this little video, we will be offline.